Kane here, and in this one, we're gonna talk about another fight that I had in Duel Tower, or rather, we're gonna cover, I guess, a couple of them in the next few videos. But first one, we're gonna cover up a fight against a similar core power player. Now, there are a few things to touch on this video. First, I have heard this name somewhere before. Either I fought this guy and beat him, or either I fought him and I lost. So I pretty much already knew a few things, as like that his mages are pretty much at a similar state like mine. So for example, if we check his discipline, 28 million attack, and if we check one moment, where is my own Tisafin? We check my Tisafin, basically the same, right? So Valerie, exact same thing, high attack value, same for Avril and etc. I For some reason I already knew that this guy had it. Again, I'm not entirely sure where I knew this from, but pretty much we're gonna cover it from a fact that likely I have fought him before and I didn't really remember the outcome. So he's similar core, however he has his pet level 9 levels below me. So 9 levels at this stage is like 500 to 600 core difference, something like that. Maybe more, maybe less, but around that number. That kind of leaves a little bit of room for him actually having better improvement, because the pet is usually just fake core and isn't really that useful in a battle, apart from just the pet's ability. So the dragon, I have a little bit over 1 million power, and he has 1.3 million. So his dragon, in terms of the abilities, he actually has all three at tier 4, so that's quite a bit of stats. As well as dragon abilities, he has Dragon Scale, Aura Blast, and Draconic Blessing, but he doesn't really have the archers, I think. Oh, he has just one mummy squad. Alright, so one moment, let's check further. So he has Arcane, he has the corrosive, but he doesn't have graviton surge for the beginning of the battle. So yeah, that is, I guess, what he swapped with Draconic Blessing. Unsure if it's a good idea, but honestly, I kind of like the black holes from the dragon myself. In terms of the frontline, he actually has Covenant on Divine, which kind of adds a decent amount of tankiness on his field, cause this says when a unit dies, nearby Marauders gain a shield equivalent to 25% of their max HP. Now, this is 4 million, might seem a little bit low, however, he has 3 squads at tier 19, and they're pretty much exactly the same as mine. So 25% from this, it's like 1.25, like 1 million and a quarter of a million HP, and this can proc 5 times. And now it says nearby Marauders. That means even if I guess a Marauder of one squad dies, if you have another squad of Marauders right there, or like in a clump, it's gonna provide a shield to that as well. And in a sense, that can actually buy you a lot of time in terms of a fight. And I'm also working towards that. I think in rather this month, or by the end of this month, I will finish my 3rd piece to Divine. So then I would only have 1. I mean, it depends on events and stuff like that. I might be a little bit above that, might just reach it. I'm not entirely sure, but we're gonna see. But yeah, this is a pretty huge thing in my eyes, considering the HP can actually be buffed by, let's say, Gazul and all other stuff. So this sort of a shield, honestly, is something that likely took more time for me to clear than him to clear mine. God damn it, I left this battle replay. So one thing, or a few things to note. So his heroes are not leveled like pretty evenly. So likely this person is on a little bit of a newer server, due to the fact that you can see a bit of a difference in terms of hero levels. So Um, Pretty much I played a bit longer than him, and I have more experience to play with, and I even have like 100 million experience saved in my inventory at the moment, so I don't really level some other heroes. While he has some heroes level 62, and instead of like Gladiator 65, he has Gazel 53, some level 50s and whatever stuff that he should kind of have 65 or whatever. So it means that he had, I guess, less time on research since his Gladiator is not 65. So again, a bit a newer server, and I guess somebody that spends a decent amount of money. So honestly, this is like one of the, I guess, rare few people who spend money and actually make proper account decisions as well. Now, I've checked a lot of his artifacts. Like, I went through all of his heroes, and he has some of the questionable artifacts upgraded. Now, I'm not calling the person out or whatever. However, he has mages as his top DPS, like necromancers, Valerie, etc., and of course gladiators required to do tanking. And he has Furious Magazine 5-star. However, he doesn't have Warmaker's main 5-star, or even 4-star for that matter, right? So there are nuances like this in his artifact upgrading, which are kind of questionable. So Arcane Rod, he did make it 5-star. Nectar of Life, 5-star. He then made Iga Shuriken 5-star instead of Warmaker's main. And then I think I've seen some other stuff. I'm not certain, but I think there was like a couple more artifacts which were not really as good as, let's say, the Warmaker's main or some others, right? So, for example, Lichki, sure, it can help for some PvE content and whatever, but honestly, he can do, I guess, a little bit better in terms of PvP. So, that aside, the mages, it is a way to make the mages do damage in terms of, let's say, this set. Now, do keep in mind, he probably upgraded quite a few features a little bit more than me, due to the fact that he does have a lot of hero attack, considering that he doesn't have a tier 10 prism yet. So he would add like 12% more hero bonus, so his Valerie attack would be like 23 million, or it could be close, but just the skin 10% adding like 2 million. Not entirely sure. But yeah, that is also pretty huge in terms of that matter. The other thing, I think I lost in a lot of stats. Yeah, so excuse me, what does that mean? So basically, he has both the Covenant upgraded rather quite high, as well as he has Armory at tier 4 or level 4 or whatever you want to call it. One moment, let me just quickly exit this to show you what I mean so people would understand. So he has the Furnace level at this, because my god, I don't think I've ever lost in so much stats against a person similar core, which likely would not have this. Like, that's impossible. He had like over 7,600 I think command and friggin magic, and that's like almost impossible to do without that particular one, unless you literally just drop most of the other stats, and even then he would win in one and barely win in others. But that was just a crushing defeat on 3 stats, which honestly I don't think it's possible without that. I mean, if he would prove me wrong or something, and if he's like an English player, international player, then I mean, he can prove me wrong and I will, retract those words. But honestly, I think he has that upgraded. So, which also leads to the fact that his armory abilities and stuff could actually be very well upgraded as well. So, formations. This is my formation that I used before and even made it into videos, and this is pretty much his formation. So we faced burst versus stall. So he has, I think, a decent amount more heroes placed than me, and he has one stalker squad less. So let's jump into the fight. Honestly, this is like a pretty similar formation or pretty similar fight that I have, just that he has a bit of a better breakthroughs activated. So the fight, I started off with Valerie. I do believe, like always, since I'm facing a stall side. Now at this point, what bad things happen? So essentially, what I would want to do or have is a Rufio kind of move towards the side, but then I would have to remove one of, like, I guess, more core heroes from that part, or risk my Rufio being hit more often. The thing is, the skeletons are running to the left of my dragon. So what I can show you, and it's a pretty crucial point in what I'm gonna say, is if the skeletons run, as you can see, they're all filled here. If they run here, a lot of my area damage is split. Instead of this clump right here, it will likely proc one of the thingies to go to the left instead of like this front line or somewhere here, and quite a bit of my damage will be either out healed or out shielded or stuff like that, instead of just fully blasting majority of the skeletons. So my cast is Valerie into Avril into Rufio. Now what I do with Rufio, as those skeletons are still trying to run, I jump with Rufio and I want to stun those skeletons for a short amount of time so they would not run to the left. So both the Rufio stun them, and then my dragon proccing Swell and stuff like that also rooted them, stunned them, silenced them, and they didn't really run for a decent amount of time until like I procced a lot of invincibilities. And then of course when some of those were dying, shields were proccing. I mean, if they didn't have those shields proccing, like, they could have done a lot more. But as you can see, I'm doing damage, but that friggin' HP bar is not moving. That shield is like another HP bar, or like those shields are literally like a full HP bar of those marauders. It's friggin' crazy how much damage I had to pull through while he was having a little bit of a harder time with my own stall. But that's basically Balrog, other buffs, as well as, you know, tier 19s and whatever. He had tier 19s guarding his midsection and his dragon. So I almost broke his stall side, like a couple of skeletons left, and he still is having trouble with mine. At this rate, he has like 3 or 4 Ophidia stacked on my mages, I do believe, and I had to use my Avril abilities, I think, now or almost at this place, and he procced the mirror and even made more skeletons. Now, honestly, for some odd reason, I thought the mirror was kind of good against, or rather with the whatchamacallit, the ranged units, but apparently you can also proc the mirror and also get invincibilities of the skeletons. I didn't know that. That is a new thing for me. So basically at this point, I have like my skeletons going towards their mages. A few pulls were stopping them. They were being killed left and right, but I didn't have any more mage cast. I didn't have Avril cast, which if I would have done that and I would have casted it here, probably I would have killed some of the mages, but I had to spend so much to just clear that friggin' stall side with that, I guess, shielding, with that friggin' covenant buff and stuff like that, with the, I guess, stat differences and whatever. He actually outlasted me, I guess outgunned me in terms of damage, or out survived me. I'm not sure how to name that stuff, but pretty much, yeah, he ended up beating me with some of his stalkers left alive, his dragon and his mages. But again, I fought him somewhere. I gave him a thumbs up. He gave me thumbs up. It was a pretty good battle, honestly. I would like to fight his burst side instead of requiring to phase these friggin' insane Covenant friggin' skeletons, man. Like, holy crap. Then I guess burst versus burst, I would have had more chances to beat him due to the fact that I'm still using Rufio and my Rufio is a little bit decked out than his. I didn't really check his ability cast either, so I'm not sure what he casted and whether it was or it could be better or stuff like that. But let's see. So I have similar Rufio, but I have a bit more attack, like 3 million more attack than him. So depending on ability cast, I could have likely beaten his burst. But eventually, I might have a try at him again if I meet him in the tower. And someday, I guess we will try again. But anyways, yeah, that was, I suppose, a pretty rough fight. Could have gone both ways if we faced different sides. But honestly, this is like an example of the friggin' Covenant, I guess, effect, which, as you can see, was not not similar to the Void Eater and stuff like that, but they actually didn't take damage for a decent amount of time for me to almost proc an entire HP bar of these friggin' skeletons. It's friggin' crazy, bro. Anyways, yeah, that's pretty much it. A pretty fun fight, not gonna lie. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoy it, and if you did, do hit that subscribe button. It would help me out a lot. Again, thanks for watching. Take care and stay safe out there.